Have you ever heard music so enchanting that it transcends you into another realm? That is what Cefashante has been able to do with his music. He's not only a super talented artist, he's a singer, songwriter, and multi-instrumentalist. Please join me as I welcome the super talented Cefashante. It's good to have you here on the program. I'm so excited. The super duper talented Cefashante.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here too.
Yeah, how are you feeling?
Great.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm doing very well.
Lovely. I mean, the other day I was at your event, just on Saturday actually, and I would say that your performance was really intriguing. And to know that that's actually the genre of music that I really enjoy. So I was really in my element, and watching you do your thing was
Thank
beautiful.
you very much. It's
You're
a
welcome.
pleasure.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so I know that your music is deeply rooted in, ancestry and spirituality. Can you share how your upbringing in Abuja sort of like helped you find your niche?
I mean, yeah, Abuja is a very interesting space because, I mean, it's a city that it's in its foundational stages in terms of the culture.
Okay.
I mean, because the capital moved there not too long, I think maybe about 35 years or 37
Yes.
years ago, I'm not too sure. So it kind of, people who came in started to, create the identity of the city.
Okay.
And, when there's a creation of, it's like hardware and software. And in creating the software, different influences. And growing up in the city, being a part of the city, my parents were one of the earliest people to move to the city.
Really?
So we started to, just create. We had traveled, gone to school, and when we come back, we have to create. And so that started to shape the kinds of music. And also coming from a very strong rooted family, we're Igbos.
Okay.
So it's that cosmopolitan exchange that happens when, everybody comes from these different places.
Yes.
And they have to live there, they have to build their new and find their new identity. So for me, Abuja shaped that in the sense that it created an open space for us to be original, for us to create whatever we wanted to create.
Okay.
And I would say that that's the kind of influence that the city of Abuja has had on the kind of music I make.
That's good. So let's talk about your debut project titled David Stone. That sort of like, helped you introduce yourself to the music industry officially. How has that journey been like, back in 2017? Now we're in 2024. Just, very briefly.
Okay, so that project was very foundational to my musical journey. The reason why I called it David Stones was because it was from the story of David and him.
David in the Bible.
David in the Bible, yes. David fighting Goliath, and all he had was the stones and the
catapult.
Yeah, the sling, yes. And for me also, at that point in my life, I decided to be a musician. I didn't know anything. I didn't study music. I didn't know anybody in the industry. All I had was my guitar, my voice, and the songs I had written. And so it represented the simplicity, so that was my entry into the world of music. So that's what David Stone. So David Stone is my very honest, vulnerable sound that I could create, and I believed so much in the music and the journey. So that's really what that capsule of creation represents on my musical
All right. Is that the same album that has Jeje on it?
No.
Okay.
Jeje is on Jollof 4, the next EP I created.
I really like that one.
Okay.
I really do. Your next project titled Jollof 4, it is an EP. Just tell me about how you put that together. What inspired you to decide to put an EP as your next project? Because I mean, 2017 was your first, official project, and then Jollof 4, you released that one in 2022.
Yeah.
So why that space? I mean, some people will say, why didn't you just release an entire album? Why an EP?
I mean, like, personally, I've been in the underground space for a long time. I've focused more on live experiences, you know. I wasn't so much of a recording musician. I wasn't so much of a recording artist and putting music out. So most people who knew me had come to my concerts, festivals, and experienced me. But every time you said, do you know Seth? Have you listened to it? There was nothing there, So I had taken also a long break. I had curated a couple of festivals in Abuja and different places. And so that period came, I had, collaborated with a few artists I had gotten back into. And so it was sort of like an experimentation of how my music was, because all I had recorded was David Stone's, and so I worked with Emeka from Pro Audio. We worked together.
Okay.
He was the producer for the project, and led it with the other musicians who we worked with. And so we came together and exploring like fusion of different sounds, Ogene, high life, some reggae, some jazz, and just blending it all together. And so it was a test for me, and it was just playing, and we were excited about what we had created. And instead of overthinking and, thinking about all of that, we were like, let's just put it out. And also, it was a particular time again for me. That represented, like what the name is, Jide Ofo means, he that holds the Ofo. The Ofo in the Igbo culture is a mantle. And it represented me taking responsibility for my life, because I had been in a space where things had gone bad. It was difficult, but it represented taking responsibility and holding yourself accountable. So for me, it was, I needed to release this. I can keep giving excuses. I can keep staying in this dark place.
Starving your fans.
Yes. So for me, that's what that project again was about. It was about taking responsibility.
That's so interesting, and talking about the style of your music, I would say it is a combination of very rich sounds. You talked about, soul, reggae, jazz, high life, ogene. Can you tell me about that sound in particular? I know that is related to the Igbo culture.
Yes.
Can you maybe describe that a little bit?
Yes. It's a very, there's a sound that moves your spirit. Like there's a sound, it's like the culture of the talking drum. Like when you hear it, you know it. Like you hear the language of the drum without words. You hear the melody and you know what it's saying. And also for me, like that's a huge, I might not play that kind of music, but I identify it. So when we were creating, I had to go back to my roots. What are the things that moves my spirit? What are the sounds that move my spirit? And I needed to, capture that in the music I was making. So the ogene is a very powerful, because they're not using too many instruments. It's very spiritual. It's very conversational. All of that is happening. So it's the sonics of all of these sounds. So I was able to, capture different things, different elements, take different instruments from all these different sounds and bring it together. We are still on that journey of evolution, musical evolution. But for me, those were the bedrocks of creating that project. And it's still been influencing the music.
Yes, it influences me and, a whole lot of other people. And how would you say you tap into that while performing? Because I've watched you perform, I know how it is. And also I see that you wear a lot of white. Is there a significance to that as well?
Okay, in terms of my performance, the stage is home for me. It's sort of an escape. It's sort of a transcension for me. I'm present, but not very, very present. So all of these sounds take me to another place, and I'm present with the crowd, with the people who are watching, but in that moment, I am being very honest and giving of myself. And so I have to enjoy, I have to let the music take me. And in that, people find enjoyment, they find healing, they find different things in the music. So for me, I let the music fill me up. I let it take me, I get into it, I deeply get into it, because I know that music is for entertainment. Music is for many different things. But for me, music is also a powerful tool, a powerful and spiritual, gift that we need as a people to capture our stories, to heal our people, to tell our essence. And so for me, I usually like to get into that headspace.
That's good.
Yes, I usually like to. And then, so all of these things influence me, and I'm able to share. You know, I let myself become a vessel.
Of course. So I'm going to state something very interesting that I saw during your performance. You didn't have chairs or tables for people to sit at. A lot of people were sitting on the floor, on a very, clean grass, not on, dirt and stuff. And everybody was I was watching the crowd as everybody was, getting into that space, like transcending into another realm and just feeling the music, If you're someone that doesn't really enjoy that genre of music, he's going to transform you. I'm just telling you. Once you go for Cefashante's show, he'll win you over. You can't help it, you know. And another person that I found very interesting at your show was one half of the Cavemen. That's Okore Kingsley. Do you have like a personal relationship with him, or is just a fan, or you know, how is that like for you?
No. You know, like a lot of the times people see me and say, maybe they say you look like Benjamin, or do you know the Cavemen? Your sound reminds me of that. And it's funny because, I mean, like, we are brothers pretty much. We've grown together creatively, musically.
Okay.
I've lived with them. They've lived with me in Abuja. I've lived with them in Lagos years ago before anything. You know, we've built and had a relationship. However, everybody grows on their own journey.
Of course.
But at the core of it is that I'll leave it and say that we're actually brothers.
That's good.
You know, I'm brothers with them, and you know, they're doing great work, which has been very inspirational, you know, inspiring for people who, it's like what Asha did for a lot of singer-songwriters. You know, the Cavemen have also been able to do that for many people who are looking for alternative means. And, you know, their light has been shining, and that has been very inspiring for many people, and for me as well.
Yeah, that's really good.
I have a relationship with the Cavemen.
Yeah. Do you sometimes feel awkward when people tell you that you sound like this person, rather than identifying you as, oh, Cefashante, you know, this is your unique sound? You know, do you feel some type of way sometimes?
I mean, like, I do not think anybody is, you know, when you listen to Afrobeat, there's a sound of Ashake in Sheyi vibes. There's a, it's a jollof, it's a pot of.
I call it Afro incantations.
Yeah, so there's a feel, there's something, and I'm not able to distinguish myself. So I understand, you know, sometimes people want to make it egoistic and make it feel like, but Osadebe was playing High Life.
Yeah.
Oliver De Coque was playing, you know, all of these different people, and they had elements, so if you were not very deep inside, it would sometimes sound like the same thing if you listen to, you know, Ebenezer Obey and you listen to another person, you know. So yes, sometimes people come and say, you sound like this, you sound like that. And I mean, like, first of all, we are brothers.
Yeah.
First of all, we are taking something from the same place, you know, we are taking, so life is that you take from life and then you decide how you're going to express it.
Yeah.
So I do not really, I'm fine, you know. Everybody seeks for transformation and growth. And yes, definitely we'll get to a point where, okay, this is this, this is that. But at the core of it, how important is that? You know, it's just ego. At the end of the day. At the end of the day, is that we can build something, you know, and also it's very important that our sound and what we are creating needs to grow to a level where we cannot be ignored. So if I sound like them, or they sound like me, or, you know, the Folks or which other band that's trying to make that kind of music, yes, they could be the people who start first and are recognized. Yes. But we are all making something, and it's a community. And sometimes it's necessary that the community has a voice.
That's good. That's a perfect way to put it together, because, I mean, we have other like pop Afrobeat artists, you know, you have the likes of Rema, Crayon, and all these other people who you would say that they have similar sounds, you know, just like they are doing their thing. The same thing can be recognized in the high life genre and things like that, you know. Which brings me to my next question. You have a very beautiful wife, by the way. And rumor has it, actually not a rumor, I'm just joking, she is also a music artist. That's Rubunu.
Yes.
Yeah.
Queen Rubunu.
Queen Rubunu. Pronounce it for me.
Queen Rubunu.
Rubunu. Yes. Okay. Can you just, you know, share one or two things about, you know, her style of music? I've listened to her song, right? And another thing that I noticed that day at the performance is that she also was on stage doing her thing, you know, serenading the audience and stuff like that. And both of you were white. You both were rocking dreads. Her dreads were white. His black, you know. And I was like, how these people connected? And then I found out that they're actually married. How do you sometimes work with her? How is your creative process like with your wife?
First of all, we are friends. Beyond any other thing, we are friends. And there's a interconnectedness in our creative process. Okay. And it comes from a place of deep understanding, you know, and support. So yes, we work together a lot of the times, you know, in terms of design, in terms of inspiration, you know. So I think at the core of it, like I said, we are friends, and when you're friends, you understand the other person. So yeah, so we have a solid support system, and that influences everything that we do, and you can see it, you can recognize it, in everything that we do. So yes, there's a huge, deep connection in our working systems, built on love, built on connection, built on friendship.
That is so nice. See me smiling. Hey, God, I go love you. And it's so nice to see because, I mean, there are a few other people in the industry who are, married, doing music. Adekunle Gold and Simi, for example. For the longest time, I heard that Simi would often... Is it produced, do a bit of production on Adekunle Gold's songs? And sometimes I'll be hearing one voice, and if I pay attention closely, I realize that Simi that's doing ad-libs at the background. And to see that, two people are doing similar things and are married is something that should be commended and should be encouraged a lot more, because sometimes you say, as the man, let the man be the one that's going in front, let him be the one, pushing his music, and the woman should just rest. It's nice to see that you're both collaborating for that. Yeah, most definitely. Do some fun questions, right? To just sort of ease the tension from all the seriousness. Or is this interview so serious? All right. So if music was a type of dish, like food, what would you say? What would you describe yours as?
Something that has a lot of pepper.
Spicy.
Spicy.
Eee. Okay.
I think maybe like ofe nsala.
Hey, ofe. I don't think I've had ofe nsala before.
Okay, maybe ofe nsala. Either pounded yam or fufu, actually.
Oh, you like fufu?
Yeah, I
think the smell.
That's why I said it's a delicacy. It's not a regular.
Yeah,
but yes, I think I would.
Okay, interesting. So when you're not creating and performing, how do you unwind? How do you draw inspiration? You just want to let your dreads down, and
I mean, I'm very interested in nature. I spend a lot of time in nature. I love horses. I love the ocean. I go to the beach. I meditate. I spend a lot of time in nature. So that's how, when I'm not creating and I'm not working, that's what I'm usually doing.
That's nice. And I know that you've collaborated with interesting people, of course, your wife as an example, but when you sort of look at a bigger picture, who is one, or who are, I don't want to box you, some artists that you'd really love to collaborate with?
It would be nice to, we're having conversations. I'm looking at doing some work with the Cavemen.
Okay. You haven't worked with them at all?
I mean, Kingsley has done a production for me a long time ago, but in terms of us coming together to collaborate.
That would be so nice.
Yes.
And imagine them performing on stage. Hey, God, I will not wear shoe. I not go wear shoe. And by the way, during his performance, he wasn't wearing shoes to show you that he's really, really connected with his fans. So not to deviate your collaboration.
Yeah, I think I would really love to collaborate with the Cavemen.
Okay.
Who else would I really like to collaborate
Maybe
with?
Asha.
Well, pretty much. Asha is one of the reasons I started making music.
Really?
Actually, yeah. I studied law. I was in school. Before then, I heard Jayla on the radio, and I mean, I've told her this story before. I heard Jayla on the radio, and
you met her?
Yeah, I've met her.
Nice.
Once or twice.
Okay.
And I was like, this is Tracy Chapman, and someone said, no, this is Asha. And I said, if somebody in Nigeria can make this kind of music, I am going to start making music. And then I got a guitar, and that's how my musical journey started. So she's such a huge influence, for my own music. So
that's good.
It'd be nice to
collaborate with.
It'd be nice to do a collaboration with her.
Yeah, I mean, you just mentioned only two people, though. Or let's say three, because the Cavemen, there are two, but then one.
Okay,
just one more person. One more. He's really scratching his head. Should I give you an option?
Yeah, give me
Maybe
an
David Donley. Or Dotty the Deity.
I mean, I've collaborated with Dotty the Deity.
He was here,
already.
actually. I interviewed him.
Yeah, I mean, so who I've done a recording with
Dottie.
Dottie.
Alright,
I've done some work with Tommy Thomas.
Okay.
So I've actually done some collaborations already. We're going to be releasing more music next year.
Okay.
So that's why you're saying who, in terms of who I haven't yet. Also, my music, in terms of the collaboration, my music usually leads me to who needs to. I'm not just the vibe artist, you know. So it's really, where's the music saying? Who do I think should be on this? So sometimes I'm not able to just place and say, oh, this is the person who I want to collaborate with. The artists who inspire me, a lot of artists that inspire me. But in terms of collaboration, it's very sacred, you know. It's not something that I'm just doing because I want to vibe, so it really depends on who, you know. So these are some of the artists, because I think Kingsley is one of the best producers who I know, you know, of the Cavemen. He's one of the best producers who I know. And it would be really nice, you know, for us to do some work.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. So let's talk about the future, right? Are you going to be having another show before the year runs out?
I'm playing at the Afro Jazz Fest on the 15th. It's going to be at Battery Brewery.
Okay.
On the 15th. There are a couple of other lineups. So if you check on my social media, we'll be posting that. But at the moment, also, I haven't been in Lagos for too long, but we've had some good shows. We've had Afro Vibes.
Okay. Did you move here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was in Abuja. We've played at Design Week Lagos.
Okay.
Played at, Miliki, which was a great show.
Yeah, it was.
So we will be having that and a few other played at Afropolis.
Okay.
So we've had like good shows, and even with the band, it's a new band I've been playing with here in Lagos. We've just been playing for a few months.
Oh, they are so good.
Yeah,
there was a time at the show where, Seth had finished with his, set, and it was just the band guys that were doing their thing with the trumpets, with the instruments. I was like, these were so talented. And then at the end of everything, they all stayed together, they took pictures. And Seth is very, very receptive. I must say that about you, because you kept going to people to say, did you enjoy? And he asked me personally, did you enjoy the show? Are you sure? I'm like, yes, I enjoyed it. So that's very good to know.
Thank you.
So coming projects next year.
Yes. Next year is the year of release.
Hey.
The year of release, there's going to be a lot of music out, because again, I've been hoarding a lot of music, and so next year is going to be a lot of release. I'm working on with DJ Cam.
Okay.
I'm working on an EDM project.
What's that EDM project?
Like rave,
Extended
rave sound. So that sound. So we're exploring the electronic sound.
Okay.
I have a body of work I'm working on with Magic. He's a producer.
I know Magic.
Yeah. So working on that. Working on. So next year is going to be loaded pretty much. Next year is going to be very loaded.
I'm waiting. I'm expecting.
Yeah, it's going to be a jollof pot of different kinds of sounds.
Yes, all the mede inside.
Yes. So all of the music, for example, that you heard at the show, we really haven't recorded any of them. So a lot of the maybe we've recorded Odoyewu and maybe Animal Farm. Those are the two songs.
I like Animal Farm. Oh my God, it's such an interesting song. Knowing that I actually did watch the animation.
You did?
I did, Animal Farm, and it's not really about animals, it's about politics and things like that, and to see that you were able to make that into a sound, music, and also tell a story, it shows that you know your stuff.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. I've done my study, don't worry. You had to swell very well today. So just before you leave, what advice would you give to somebody, an artist out there, or someone generally who is trying to break out of their cocoon?
I take my time to answer the question.
It's okay.
Because you must be very honest. And I think that that's what it is honesty. You must tell yourself the truth, because a lot of the times we don't deal with the truth. We have ideas of what we want to be, what we seek to be, but you must first of all build yourself on the foundations of truth, because it's wild out there, So you must tell yourself the truth, and that truth starts to build you, it starts to build capacity. You must tell yourself the things that you sincerely desire, the things that you have, the things that you don't, the things that you want to achieve, and you find ways. And it's important to have a team of great people around you.
Very true. It's
very important, because no man is actually an island. You can't go on that journey just by yourself. So you need people, and so find yourself, and also find the courage You know, we live in a world where people are constantly trying to discourage you and break you. So you must find the courage to be, you know, to be your original self. And then you can go on your journey and also connect with the powers, you know, connect with the spirit, whatever you believe in, have a solid foundation. That would be my advice for anybody who wants to go on this journey.
All right. Thank you so much, Cefashante, for gracing us with your presence, for being a part of this interview. Finally, before you leave, please share your social media handles so that your new fans can follow
All right.
you. Yeah.
So it's, I mean, across all platforms is Cefashanta, Cefashante, together. Nothing in between. Cefashante on all social media platforms, on Instagram, on Twitter, on TikTok. Not like we're great on it, but
You know, I was about to ask, like, you're on TikTok?
we have a handle. If you go there, at least you see a name. But I mean, we're most active on Instagram, very interactive there. We share, we're active there. We're live and active.
All right.
So yeah, so Cefashante, follow us on all social media platforms, please.
That's good. Thank you so much for being a part of this
Thank you very much for this
I had
opportunity.
such an amazing time having conversations with you.
Too. I had a great time. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right.
And that is how we wrap things up on the program this evening. It was such an insightful conversation with Cefashante. Do not forget to follow him on all his social media platforms, and also, I beg, stream his music. It's very important. Let us be patriotic, okay? You can also catch this episode on our YouTube channel. We are at Radio Now Studios on YouTube and Radio Now 95.3 FM on other social media platforms.